It is currently 4 a.m. and we are in Egypt about to see the sunrise from a hot air balloon. This is gonna be crazy, guys. Valley of the Kings, we're going there later. Those are all dead camels and donkeys. Why? First hot air balloon ride in Egypt for sunrise. Check. We are now going to explore the Valley of the Kings. I'm very tired, guys. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I don't think we're getting sleep until about 3 p.m. when we take our bus back to the next hotel. So this is gonna be a long one. Also, somehow the third leg of my tripod fell off. So that's super fun. Also, super fun fact, our bus smells like eggs. So we have made it to the Valley of the Kings, guys. This is super exciting. We are about to enter the Sons of Rameses II's tomb. If you take a look at the diagram, each one of those little boxes is a different son's tomb, and that's not even all of them. In total, he had over 100 children and I think around 70 wives. But another cool thing to know, if you were a tomb raider, the way that they found a lot of these tombs is from these chiseled, chipped off pieces of rock, because obviously when they were chiseling into the side of the mountain, pieces like this came off, and that's how they knew where to look. Okay, I was wrong. Sons of Rameses II is actually closed, so we are going into Rameses III. We're told it's one of the best ones. You can go for free, and we're doing free. Okay, so we just entered the 3 free temples that were recommended by our tour guide, starting with Rameses III. That first one didn't have a sarcophagus or anything, but there were cool paintings. I also wouldn't say that's the best one just because you couldn't go as deep. You kind of got in halfway and then had to turn around. And that's it! No mummy. Next was the next best in my opinion, and that was the tomb of Merempta. Very hard to pronounce. That one had our first sarcophagus, and it actually also showed an open version of the sarcophagus, so you could see kind of what it looks like inside. And you will notice as well in that one, which was interesting, that it was unfinished. So a lot of the drawings were just kind of sketched out, not fully carved or painted. And that has to do with the fact that the tombs are only as big as the lifespan of the king. So if a king dies early, like Tutankhamun only lived about 10 years, so his tomb is super, super small, but the average lifespan of a person in ancient Egyptian times was about 50 to 60 years, but kings actually lived well into their 90s because they had better access to the priests who did the healthcare, and even though they believed a lot in the gods and magic, they were actually very, very scientific and were ahead of the times in a lot of medical procedures. They had the first stethoscope and knew a lot about the bodies and the organs because of the mummification process. Unlike the Romans, who leave their dead bodies untouched, they were able to see more of the inner workings, therefore treat their citizens better. We ended on Rameses IV, that by far has the most beautiful, beautiful color. That gave a great idea of what all of those temples and tombs that we've been looking at all week should look like. I had no idea how colorful it was supposed to be, and that one is really, really, really intact and does have a full sarcophagus in there as well. So highly recommend that. If you had to go to one, that would be the one for me. It's absolutely stunning. So we still have not seen the biggest temple in Egypt, so that is going to be one of our next stops after lunch. I'm literally shaking. I can barely walk because it's hot and I'm malnourished and have gotten no sleep. So wish me luck. Hopefully we make it there. Everyone say hi! Hi! Nice to meet you. Thank you. Have a good one. Another quick tip for the bathroom, always bring tissues because there is never toilet paper here in Egypt. So I found a shady area to talk about this because I'm dying. I don't know if you can see the sweat building up on my face. This is the Mortuary Temple of Hatshepsut. It is a temple in memory of her, but she is actually like the original Mulan. She ruled for 16 or 19 years, but 12 to 13 of those years she pretended she was a man so that she could be king, which is really, really badass. And she has this whole temple dedicated to her story and her life. If you want to go somewhere that gives you some true woman power, this is where you should go. Don't get me wrong, this is all really cool and everything, but it is 110 degrees and I feel like I'm gonna pass away.
We have palms.
Oh, I don't know it.
I don't know it.
There are big ships and little ships, but
nothing like friendships. Had a nice little lunch and now we're going to a big temple, I guess. Yay. Last temple today and the biggest. Okay, so this big section here was actually built by Rameses II. We have talked about him before at several other temples. He seems like kind of a dick. He actually stole a lot of stones that he used for this from other buildings, other temples, just to make his area the most grand. This temple is the biggest because there's so many kings who contributed to it, not just ancient Egyptians, also Greeks and Romans, Nubians. Everybody came and put in their piece of history. Say hello to your people.
Yo, welcome to my dynasty.
This behind me is the sacred pool. It was used to figure out the level of the Nile River because it's directly attached. So the higher it rose, they knew the higher the Nile was getting. As well as for purification, it was like their holy water. So they would use it for baptism and any of their other holy water needs. But also by figuring out the level of the water, that's how they also taxed the people. The people had to pay for their gods, obviously. They had to pay for the sun. They had to pay for the water. Guys, whoa. We are really struggling. We only have like a half an hour left to like walk around. Look at this, is literally Shelby State.
My ass is so sweaty.
Same. All day. Like guys, like you can't get rid of the swass in Egypt. At least not in April. / almost May. Oh my god, is it May already?
Yeah.
Oh god. I can't even talk. I'm drying up. This is like when SpongeBob is drying up in the sun and he's like, water, water.
Can I get you anything?
Water would be nice.
Okay guys, I hope you're not offended by my sweat stash. This has been a great, informational, amazing tour. I highly, highly recommend, but be aware if you do the adventurers package with timeless tours, it will be taxing. There is an older couple that is in our group and I have absolutely no idea how they're doing it. Mind you, they didn't sign up for all the excursions and stuff that were super early for us, but still, props to them. Like, and he's still dancing at night by the Fluka. But there is so much to see in this country and there is so much interesting history and just so much storytelling, which makes the information so much easier to grasp and actually retain. So guys, remember, just get up early, enjoy the beginnings of your day, enjoy the fact that you are in one of the most ancient civilizations in the world and that you are amongst buildings and structures that are thousands and thousands of years old and took thousands of years to build. This temple right here took multiple thousands of years. It's just so many men coming together because they worship one thing, and it's a really, really cool concept and completely fascinating to see come to life. It's one thing to read about these stories in a textbook, but it's another thing to see it. I might get a couple clips of us back at the hotel, but if not, make sure, as always, to like and subscribe. I hope you guys learned a little something in this Egypt series. I tried my best to reiterate the information that I was able to retain from our awesome tour guide, Rameses. Highly recommend him if you do timeless tours. Turn on that notification bell so you can be notified every single time I post. There is so many more travel vlogs and places to see, you guys. It's gonna be awesome. My Instagram is @MadelineHickson. I post travel stories. If you want a quick highlight of all these different countries, that is the place to go. Lastly, thank you to all my patrons. You guys mean so much to me. My Patreon will be linked below if you're interested in my daily travel diaries. Oh, we have a full day of diving tomorrow. Okay, well, on that note, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. That little girl over there is in a freaking parka and pants, and I am over here so freaking hot that I think I'm going to vomit because he is literally making me nauseous. There is no shade today. God, get me to the bus. Get me water. Yikes.